I'm changing my hats today to share with you and represent a friend of mine, David Nitz. Many of you know Pastor David Nitz, and he serves with men opposing sex trafficking. Wow, that's a mouthful right there to get out and to talk about. And so I have the honor of sharing with you some information about this ministry. You know, the United States comprises about 5% of the world's population. And we spend about 1/3 of the money that's spent on sexual exploitation in the world. 5% of the population spending 1/3 of the total costs on sexual exploitation. And so when you think about trafficking, just some thoughts and some stats here, all right? The average age of a girl that's trafficked is between 15 and 17 years of age. And the average age of a girl that actually enters trafficking is around 12 years, some as young as toddlers and babies. I know that's sickening to conceive of. You think about the impact of that kind of life on an individual, and the greatest impact is that the life expectancy after someone, a young girl, enters that kind of situation is 7 years. And drug overdose and suicide are what brings their lives to an end far, far, far too early. The average age of a boy, conversely, not that gets trafficked, but that is exposed to one of the greatest feeders of this, but gets exposed to violent pornography, is 11 years of age. I think about the children that are in that school, and obviously that's not where they're being exposed to it, but you and I know that we have the easiest access, and we give kids a phone untethered and unmonitored, sometimes as early as 3, 4, 5 years old in our culture and in our world, and we give them immediate access to every kind of garbage that there is in the world. And that's not what I came to talk about, but when I think about that, and I realize the impact that has on people, on young people. You know, scientists say that it actually changes the frontal cortex of the brain, and it changes how a young man sees a woman. 98% of victims of trafficking are women, of course, and 95% of those that are the buyers are men. And so I hate to say it, guys, but men are the real problem here. Men are the real problem. And we want to help them. 28 million people are being trafficked today. Some estimate as many as 50 million people. So much so that there are more people in slavery today than have ever been in the history of the world. I know people are saying, oh, no, slavery's over. You have no concept of the idea of how many people are enslaved today. And that industry, if you want to call it that, spends about $234 billion a year. And the second most growing, or the largest industry besides that of illegal drugs. In Atlanta this week, there are 50,000 new ads for sex on the internet. 5,000 of them are directed at minors. That's just in the Atlanta area. And these are sobering things. I mentioned, the exposure of young men to pornography, and pornography is the major contributor to sex trafficking. And stats are that a huge majority of men in America, I'll just use America, watch pornography on a regular basis. And that doesn't matter if you're in the church or out of the church. That's what statistics say today. It contributes, obviously, to trafficking. It destroys a healthy view of God's great gift of sexual intimacy. And this isn't just something that comes from a Christian perspective. Professionals in the world who are not Christian would not even begin to identify, understand the destructive nature that pornography has on intimacy between a man and a woman, their view of a woman, and for us, most importantly, it separates us from the intimacy that we need to have with our Heavenly Father. There's less than 7% of churches in America that have any say in what's going on that I'm talking about right now. And I'm thankful for Cross Community Church that's stepping to the plate and saying, you know what, we're going to become connected with an organization called Most. It's birthed out of a ministry that was started by Bruce Deal, a member of the Church of God, and he started this ministry in Atlanta called City of Refuge, and they've ministered to young ladies off the street for years and drug addicts off the years, and now have launched into this area of ministry as well. And so we have to start the conversation, and here's what we're doing. We're asking men to learn, to activate, to invest, to sponsor. And one of the ways that you can learn is by attending an event that Bruce Deal and David Nitz and others sponsor through Men Opposing Sex Trafficking. One of those events is going to be in about a month, about 5 weeks from this week. It's going to be, there is another coast, by the way, in Florida. It's going to be on the West Coast. It's going to be in Wimauma, the Church of God campground. It's our Life Builders Men's Retreat on November 14th and 15th. I'd love for every man, I'd love for you guys to get together. Register for this event. It's going to be an incredible event. David's going to be there. Bruce Deal, one of the most dynamic speakers you'll ever hear. Powerful, powerful speaker. He'll be our keynote speaker on Friday night. David, Michael Utterback, our ministry to Israel, his ministry there. He'll be with us that morning on Saturday. It's going to be a wonderful weekend. If you have questions about it, I can answer some questions. Again, I'm representing David today, but it is something that would be such a blessing to all of the men of this church, and I know all of the families in this community. God bless you. Thank you.